Hare Krishna. Fundamentals of Bhagavad-gita, chapter 4. This is called Transcendental Knowledge. Here is the BBT study, summary study. The spiritual knowledge of the soul, of God and of their relationship is both purifying and liberating. Such knowledge is the fruit of selfless devotional action, karma yoga. The Lord explains the remote history of the Gita, the purpose and significance of his periodic descents to the material world, and the necessity of approaching a guru, a realized teacher. So the first section here is got 3 verses. Krishna relates the history of Bhagavad-gita and tells why he now wants to explain the Gita to Arjuna. Let's look at that. Here it is. This is the history of the Bhagavad-gita. Krishna first of all instructed the same teachings that he is now giving in the form of Bhagavad-gita he had earlier given in a previous incarnation to the sun god Vivaswan. Vivaswan taught his son and disciple Manu. Manu taught his son and disciple Ikshvaku. So in that way it has come through what is called a chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it. It is meant for the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas to do good to the entire society. That's why it's meant for saintly kings. But in course of time, the succession was broken. What is the meaning of this? The succession was broken. The succession was broken means that the knowledge became distorted. Philosophical deviations came up, and therefore it appears to be lost. And Krishna is now telling the same thing to Arjuna, because Arjuna is Krishna's devotee. Keep in mind, there are karmis, jnanis and bhaktas. Or if you want to classify the transcendentalists, there are the jnanis, yogis and bhaktas. And the devotee, the Krishna Bhakta, the Vaishnava, he is the supreme transcendentalist. He has accepted the highest methodology or means to attain the Lord. And amongst them, some of them are perfect devotees. Amongst the perfect devotees, there are 5 different relationships, out of which one is to be Krishna's friend. So Arjuna was a perfect devotee of Krishna, and therefore he is qualified to understand the Bhagavad-gita. The Bhagavad-gita is actually meant for them. It's not, strictly speaking, it cannot be fully understood by those who are merely ordinary materialistic people. Okay, then you find that Arjuna is asking Krishna how he could have spoken Bhagavad-gita to Vivaswan, because Vivaswan is much older to Krishna by birth. Vivaswan had appeared thousands of years back, but Krishna appears to have taken birth just now. So Arjuna is asking this for others' benefit. Krishna then explains the nature of and reasons for his appearance within the material world. Look, then Krishna starts to explain. I have passed through many births. You have also passed through many births, but I can remember all of them. How is it possible? Because Krishna has a transcendental body that never deteriorates, whereas our bodies are material and therefore we cannot remember. And when does Krishna appear? He appears whenever there is a decline in Vedic dharma, and whenever adharma becomes predominant. It is not that adharma doesn't exist, but when it becomes predominant, then Krishna descends to set everything right, so that people can take to Krishna consciousness and move ahead. He comes to deliver the Vaishnavas who are pious. He comes to annihilate those who are opposed to surrender to Krishna, who are the miscreants, and to re-establish dharma. He appears again and again and again. Then from text 9 to 11, Krishna explains that those who understand his appearance, they take shelter of him and become purified. They ultimately attain their eternal relationship with him. This is a very important verse. One who knows the transcendental nature of Krishna's appearance and activities, he becomes fully liberated in that very lifetime. And it is not just one person or two persons. Many people in the past, they have become purified by full knowledge of Krishna's activities and his birth and how he is transcendental. They attain the highest achievable goal, transcendental love for Krishna. And to whatever extent you surrender to him, to that extent Krishna reciprocates. Everyone in Vedic culture is following Krishna's path to some degree or another. From 12 to 15, Krishna describes his system for fulfilling men's fruitive desires. He also describes his own aloofness from that system. By understanding this aloofness, men work without attachment and attain liberation. Let's look at this. In this world, pious men who accept Vedic authority, they worship the demigods in order to quickly attain what they want. When you worship the Supreme Lord and you worship a subordinate demigod and you engage in activities which are pleasing to that demigod, then that demigod provides you what you want quickly within one lifetime. And this system has been provided by Krishna. This system contains 4 divisions of human society which are divided according to the 3 modes of material nature and the work. But Krishna is actually outside of the system. He is out of the box. He is not within it. In fact, Krishna is not at all affected by any activity that he engages in. And apart from that, he has no desire to attain anything that could be achievable through the Varnashrama system. He is not interested in sense enjoyment. He is not interested in liberation. So he has no reason to engage in these activities. So one should understand his position. One who understands his position, he becomes a liberated soul, and there have been many such persons in the ancient times. So Krishna says that Arjuna should also perform his duty in that manner with full knowledge of Krishna's transcendental position. Then from 16 to 24, Krishna explains the difference between Krishna conscious action, inaction, and prohibited action, and he describes the progress of one engaged in Krishna conscious action. Let's have a look at this. Even very intelligent people who do not listen to the teachings of the disciplic succession, they cannot understand what activity is meant to be followed and what activity is meant to be neglected. It is not that everything that is prescribed in the Vedas is meant to be followed by everyone in the same manner, because this is a very difficult subject matter to understand. One should know what is action, what is inaction, and what is forbidden action. Activities prescribed within the Vedas when done in Krishna consciousness is called action. And to not engage in such activities in such manner, that is inaction. Forbidden action refers to activities outside of the realm of the Vedas. So when one sees that in the activities of Krishna consciousness there are no reactions, and one sees that by avoiding activities in Krishna consciousness you are receiving the actions and reactions of karma, he is considered very intelligent. That person, he is said to be in full knowledge. He has come to the platform of knowledge now. He has become purified. He has come to a plane where he does not need to engage in any of the material duties taught in the Vedas. His mind and intelligence are perfectly controlled. He has no sense of material proprietorship. He is not affected by sinful reactions. He is self-satisfied. He is not entangled. Such a person, because he is engaged in activities in Krishna consciousness, his activities have attained transcendence already. Because everything is consummated in the spiritual platform. So now Krishna then starts to explain the various types of activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna describes various sacrifices performed by various classes of men and the results obtained by performers conscious of the meaning of sacrifice. All activities taught in the Vedas, when they are performed in Krishna consciousness, involve sacrifice from unbridled sense gratification, and therefore all such activities are called sacrifice. For instance, worship of the demigods in the proper manner, accepting them as subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is considered to be one type of sacrifice. Worship of the impersonal Brahman is another type of sacrifice. The practice of unadulterated brahmacharya, controlling the mind, that is also sacrifice. Similarly, regulated householder life, that is also sacrifice. Control of the mind and senses and of the life breath, that is another type of sacrifice. Some others engage in sacrificing their physical possessions. Some others perform Ashtanga Yoga, some study the Vedas. There are all different types of sacrifices, breath restraint, eating processes. But those who know what is the intention behind all of these Vedic systems of sacrifice, they know that the goal is to come to the platform of spiritual knowledge and in the mode of goodness take up increasing Krishna consciousness. They advance towards the eternal atmosphere. Without engaging in these Vedic sacrifices, you cannot even be happy in this life, what to speak of the next. And all of them are taught by the Vedas. This is very, very important. And they can only be performed by those who participate in the Varnashrama system. One who has attained the platform of knowledge, one who has become philosophical in the mode of goodness, he is superior to one who is engaging in the activities of Varnashrama Dharma, but who has not attained to internal spiritual realization. And therefore, Krishna says, he makes certain points which are summarized here. Sacrifice must culminate in transcendental knowledge received from a bona fide spiritual master. One fixed in transcendental knowledge can act perfectly in Krishna consciousness, but without such knowledge, one is doomed. Look at this. All sacrifices culminate in transcendental knowledge, which you need to acquire from a bona fide spiritual master coming in the disciplic line. One should serve him. One should be submissive to him. This is not like academic education. You pay some money and get some knowledge. Because from such a person, one will attain transcendental internal philosophical realization by which we will get out of the modes of ignorance and passion. And we will understand that all living beings are actually spiritual living beings. And even the greatest sinful person, he can take advantage of this knowledge, because this knowledge can save you from all reactions to material activities. This is the purest within material existence, because it is in the mode of goodness. And then when one engages in further devotional service, then he becomes fully satisfied with the knowledge that he is an eternal servant of Krishna. Anyone who has come to the platform of knowledge and devotion needs to subdue his senses, and then he can attain the supreme spiritual peace. But people who are ignorant, who do not have that knowledge, and who doubt the revealed scriptures, they cannot come to the platform of knowledge. They will always be struggling in the material world. And therefore, when you act in Karma Yoga simply means activities in Krishna consciousness. You perform Vedic pious activities in Krishna consciousness. When you engage in those activities, then your doubts will be destroyed by transcendental knowledge, and you attain self-realization, after which you naturally want to serve Krishna spontaneously more and more. So therefore, Krishna instructs Arjuna that whatever doubts that you have about the practice of activities in Krishna consciousness, you should slash it through philosophical knowledge. And armed with yoga, you should stand and you should fight this war.